The reflections of innovation project stunning images, a mirror calculation that appears to bring objects to life. This is the work, or should we say the incredible creation, of Matt Brand.
I'm a scientist most of the time, an artist most of the rest. It goes back and forth, whatever's more fun.
By trade and by nature, Brand is consistently thinking outside the box.
I'm an applied mathematician of the most impure sort. I do stuff that's usually useful and motivated by problems that I'll see on the street.
The son of an artist and architect, he dabbled in art as a child, but put it aside until a move to Newton made it a near necessity.
This is an artist colony that I live in, and it sort of was important to fire that back up again, to have street cred with the neighbors.
He dug deep into his memory bank for medium inspiration when he played in a band in the early 90s.
I was playing in a blues club in Chicago, the Artesia Lounge, and it was a dive bar decorated mainly with tinsel. One night after a long set, I sat down around 2 a.m. and looked at the tinsel, and there was a little speck of light floating in the air. And everybody's like, what is that? So I figured it out, took a bit of math, and thought, oh, I could actually make that. Just kind of a cool illusion.
This is what that illusion eventually gave way to. Mesmerizing metal plates that move with the viewer. He calls them specular holograms.
These are curved micromirrors. They're anywhere between 1,000 and 10,000 mirrors, diamond engraved into each plate, about half a mile to a mile of mirrors in each one.
Mirrors aren't his only muse these days.
These are freeform lenses.
You can't see anything.
They look like magnifying
Clear,
glasses,
right?
Except they make a funny image as you get far enough out. If you shine a light through it, you will first get a strange wisp, and then as you turn it into focus,
Wow.
you'll get a picture.
Brand borrowed from his nature inspiration and his scientific background to recreate the phenomenon.
They call it freeform optics. It's in some way a fairly easy problem to design lenses or mirrors that will make pictures. You let the sun shine through it, it rearranges the light rays, it concentrates some light rays to make parts of the image brighter, it diffuses others to make it darker, and by controlling that, you can pretty much make any picture.
Pull them together in a gallery, and this is what the light illuminates. He is always evolving. Video from shadows, holograms from steel mesh, all active imagery on passive surfaces. Brand isn't just using artistic tools, he is creating them.
I see some phenomenon in the world and I think either I don't understand how it works, or I think I know how it works, and now I want to know how to control it. I'll just go straight down that rabbit hole.
You might think this an unlikely place to find a busy intensive care unit on Route 6A in Orleans on the Outer Cape.
It's the Dolphin Rescue Center, and right now we're in the Cetacean Intensive Care Unit. This is an area where we can give short-term care to stranded dolphins that are suffering the effects of the stress and shock of the stranding.
How did a marine hospital end up in the middle of downtown in an old auto parts store?
We saw the potential. It's an all-cement building, which is great if you're going to have pools indoors. This is just a standard, commercially available above-ground swimming pool.
2 above-ground pools, 4,000 square feet.
We're right in the center of our busiest dolphin stranding hotspot.
Cape Cod may be a good place for dolphins to call home, but the geography makes it a risky one. More dolphins are stranded on beaches here than any other place in the world.
Some areas such as Brewster, we can get a mile of new beach every 6 hours. So dolphins come in, feed. If they don't make the right choices, they get stuck in there and will get stranded and be a considerable distance from the water and from safety.
Until now, when members of the International Fund for Animal Welfare responded to strandings, they treated them on site. What started with a truck bed evolved to a renovated mobile unit, giving them just hours to treat the injured.
For animals that were assessed as healthy by our veterinarians, those animals did well. The borderline cases, some of those animals, those tags stopped transmitting within a couple of days, letting us know that those animals likely didn't make it. It's hard not to feel defeated and think that there's more that could be done, and that's exactly what this is, and that's where this dolphin hospital was born out of.
They hope this facility with a staff of 4, complete with a vet lab, will help improve those survival rates.
So this gives us the ability to do more enhanced diagnostics, start providing rehab, so being able to provide these dolphins with additional treatments to get them released after those 4 days of care.
The Dolphin Hospital officially opened in late August, but hasn't seen any patients just yet. Though the public isn't allowed inside the treatment areas, there is a small education center in the front of their Orleans location, and the public is welcome. Back to artist Matt Brand. Using mathematical calculations to create art was so appealing to the National Museum of Mathematics that they have an entire wall display of Brand's metal creations. Up next, outdoor education.